Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. So today, with the conclusion of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 finally being out long enough, I'm going to go ahead and make a video ranking all of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think I have 19 people listed here. I think I'm only ranking 18 of them. There's an honorable mention, Howard the Duck. I love Howard the Duck, but he truly, really is never a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I just really want to include him because he's one of the only characters that's not an official Guardian member who's in all three of the movies. So thank you, James Gunn, for doing that. And screw you, Marvel, for not giving him his own special yet. I swear to God, you're giving shows to people like Ironheart and Agatha Harkness, the Agatha show, that, you know, it's the show that's happening. Give Howard the Duck his own show, or like, what's it called? Give him the Werewolf by Night short special, whatever. Do it. Stop being a coward. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get right into the ranking because this is going to be a long video. Okay, so I do want to go ahead and give this quick disclaimer before I start my list. I have 17 people listed, and the first couple are people who are just kind of there with the Guardians of the Galaxy, so they might not be official members of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but at some point they fought alongside them, and I am counting them. Okay? Okay. Coming in at number 17 in dead last place, we have Korg. In Thor: Love and Thunder, he's with Thor when Thor is with the Guardians, so I feel like he technically counts. His time with the Guardians is all about like 30 seconds worth of screen times, and he's not really doing anything impactful. He's telling little stories to random people on the planets that they're saving, and he probably attributes literally nothing to the actual battle and or team that the Guardians are. And I low-key wish that in Thor: Love and Thunder, when he got killed off, he actually got killed off, because he is one of my least favorite MCU characters. Okay, anyways, on to the next one. Number 16, we got Blurb. I don't know if this is actually going to be a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy going forward. I don't even know if the Guardians of the Galaxy are going forward. But this is the weird little fluffy creature that Adam Warlock has. It's kind of like his pet during the movie, but he's there during the infamous hallway fight scene that is literally, like, so freaking epic. Alrighty, coming in at number 15, we have Phyla-Vell. If you don't know who Phyla-Vell is, it's the little girl who's joining them in the mid-credit scene. We have literally nothing on this character, but I do have her over Blurb because, one, Blurb is a pet, and two, I think that if the Guardians of the Galaxy movie does continue to go on, and they do have another movie with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot, Kraglin, and Rocket have kind of all had completed character arcs. They've kind of been in the spotlight for the last, 8 years, basically. So I think it'd be her as the main character, and I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff that they could do with her character. So I'm excited to see what they could do with her going forward. Maybe have a fight scene with her with Korn playing in the background, because that'd be really dope. But as of right now, we haven't seen her do anything, so she's just number 15. Coming in at number 14, this one also just kind of suffers from the fact that we haven't really seen them do much yet. We have Adam Warlock, and I do think that Will Poulter's portrayal of Adam Warlock was actually really good. I really liked what they did with him in this movie. I think that he worked really well. He was very funny, very entertaining, and he always kind of just showed up at the worst times, and it was just a total pain in the ass. And I love it. And then at the end, they had the creating Adam moment with Adam Warlock. Chef's kiss. James Gunn is a brilliant, brilliant screenwriter. I loved it. Alrighty, coming in at number 13, we have Thor. I think it's really weird that at the end of Avengers Endgame, they set it up that he was going to be with the Guardians of the Galaxies without anybody knowing what they wanted to do with the Thor character after Avengers Endgame. So Thor: Love and Thunder has to deal with the fact that, Thor is now with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And it seems like Taika Waititi did not want to address that at all, so he kind of was like, okay, they're gone. And it kind of bothers me that they even bothered doing that. And it's really weird. But the only reason I have him this high up on the list is because the stuff with him in Infinity War when he goes with Rocket.
I'm only alive because fate wants me alive. Thanos is just the latest in a long line of bastards, and he'll be the latest to feel my vengeance. Fate wills it so.
Mm-hmm. And what if you're wrong?
Well, if I'm wrong, then what more could I lose?
Okay, coming in at number 12, we have Cosmo the Space Dog. I really like that they gave this character a lot to do in the movie. I was kind of expecting them to just kind of be there so that they could sell toys, but they actually had them be a hero, save a lot of people, save Kraglin when we thought Kraglin was going to die. It was a really great moment, and I think that overall this character could do a lot of interesting stuff in the future if they keep up with the Guardians movies. I can see them being a very pivotal role in the next movie as well. But we haven't seen as much from them, and they're just an adorable little puppy. I love it though. I think that they did a good job with them in this movie. Coming in at number 11, it kind of bothers me that I could not put this in the top 10 because I thought that Zoe Saldana played this perfectly. I have Gamora, but specifically the 2014 Gamora, who we saw at the end of Endgame and came into the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think that this really is a great job of portraying the daughter of Thanos side of Gamora. Like, the first movie kind of did it for a little bit, but at the same time, she immediately was kind of turning good and turning against Ronan. So she kind of was like a hero almost instantaneously, whereas this kind of shows where it would happen if she didn't become a hero instantaneously. She's kind of more like morally gray, and she's very violent, and I love it. I think Zoe Saldana plays her perfectly, and throughout the movie she becomes like a very reluctant hero, and I think that it worked incredibly well. And I loved her little character arc of she doesn't want to be a Guardian. That's not her. She's not that person who they thought she was. And instead of just becoming what people are telling her she was, she goes out and makes her own path, which I think was beautiful. And her ending with the Ravagers, to me, felt perfect for that conclusion of that character. Starting off the top 10, we got Kraglin. This character, I loved him from literally the first movie. He had just a couple lines, but he was hilarious. He was cool. He was Yondu's right-hand man. He had a lot of, presence with him without necessarily having a lot of dialogue. And then in the second movie, they give him a bit more. He really steps in, saves the day when Rocket and Yondu are locked up on the Ravager ship. I think that Sean Gunn's awkwardness is so good at portraying this character, and he kind of feels like the most human of the Guardians, in my opinion. Like, yeah, Star-Lord is an actual human, but, like, he doesn't seem like a god. He doesn't seem like somebody who could, like, be all powerful and mighty, and he has like anxiety about trying to figure out how to use the arrow. And I think that he might be one of my favorite parts of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, just because every time we see things from his perspective, it's kind of putting us at more of like a human levels, like a perspective on this, because all the Guardians are insanely powerful, and you watch them withstand all these like crazy things that are happening to them. And then there's Kraglin, where it's like when he goes to stand up against Adam Warlock, you can tell he's risking a lot. Like, he could die in any given moment. And then same thing with towards the end of the movie when he figures out how to use his arrow and he misses that one shot. There's a lot of tension there because he is a very fragile person. He's just skin and bones. He's a socially awkward little man. And I also think he just brings a lot of emotion to the team because the Yondu scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, like when they're showing his funeral, I do not think would work nearly as well if Kraglin wasn't in it. Alrighty, so coming in at number 9, we have the original Gamora. I think that the original Gamora is good. I think that Zoe Saldana does a great job playing her. But overall, I think that they really don't have enough time to really flesh out her character much. She's kind of just always, like, ready to fight, which is, like, it's a good character. It works. But at the same time, it's, like, her love with Peter Quill, we kind of don't really get to see it that much. Like, it's slowly built over time, but you never actually fully get to see them become, like, the super romantic couple until Avengers Infinity War, and it kind of bothers me because it's, like, a really slow build thing, and it doesn't even seem like she is the kind of character who would be open up to having a loving relationship like that. She is very motherly and nurturing towards Baby Groot, which I think is cool, but overall, they don't really give her character a lot to do, which sucks because she's the daughter of Thanos. There's so much cool stuff she could do, and in 3 movies, she doesn't really do much, and then she just gets thrown off a cliff. But that being said, I think it worked really well. Her death scene was pretty emotional and impactful. But overall, I think that compared to the other characters who had the full trilogy, she didn't have enough development for me to rank her higher on this list. Coming in at number 8, I know that this might piss people off. It kind of pisses me off too. But I have Mantis. And part of the reason why Mantis is this low on the list is actually because of like one of her last lines in the movie is, for all of her life, she's doing what Ego wants her to do. And then when she becomes a member of the Guardians, she's always doing whatever the Guardians want to do. And I think that there was really room for her to become a much more powerful character and a much more, like, stand-out character. But then, for some reason, they always just have her with Drax. And I love her character, and I love Drax's character, and I love the relationship. It's great. It works well. But, like, I was really hoping she had a standout moment in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And she kind of does with the Obelisk, where she realizes that they eat batteries, not people. She's very, like, kind and nurturing to them or whatever. Palm Clementine acts that scene off so well. But, like, she's always just kind of, like, under Drax's wings. and we haven't gotten to see what she would do on her own. So I do think that she's a character who could potentially go higher up on this list if we see her do other things in future movies. But as of right now, where it stands, she's just kind of a side character. They never really fleshed her out more, which sucks because she's a really interesting character. Coming in at number 7, we have the original Groot. I love the original Groot. He is so adorable. He's so kind and nurturing. I feel like he kind of is more of a pet, though. I think that that's like my only critique with the original Groot, is he is kind of just like Rocket's lackey in a sense. He really just seems like a side character to Rocket for the majority of the movie. He does a lot to try to like save the Guardians overall. He has a cute little scene where he makes a flower for a little girl, which I do think is really adorable and precious. And my favorite scene probably from him is when they're going down the hallway and he does the thing where he extends his arm and then he goes side to side to side and kills a bunch of people. And then he just turns around and smiles at Drax and Star-Lord. Really cute scene. He's a really cool character. His sacrifice was very emotional and very meaningful. But I feel like he didn't really do much to stand out as like one of the prominent Guardians figures. But because of his sacrifice, which was very emotional, I did want to put him a little higher on the list. Okay, now coming in at number 6, we have the other Groot. We have Baby Groot. For those people who do not know, the Groot in the first movie is the father of the Groot that we see the rest of the movies. And I like it because this second Groot has so much more personality. He loves dancing. He loves music. He's artistic. If you watch the I Am Groot shorts, he loves making art. In the holiday special, they bring that back. He makes cute little, like, creations for each of the Guardians or whatever. It's super adorable. He's super cute. His action sequences in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 might quite literally be my favorite action sequences in the entire MCU. He looks so sick. They do so much interesting stuff with his character work. It looks phenomenal. The CGI is phenomenal. And he's just so adorable and friendly. And I love him. And at the end of the movie, we get to hear him say, "I love you guys." And it literally just sounds like Vin Diesel. And it threw me off a lot. But I think it worked. I think it was really cute. And his end credit scene, oh, the way he looks in the mid-credit scene is so freaking epic. I cannot stress enough. He looks dope as fuck. I don't know if he's King Groot or Alpha Groot, because I thought he was Alpha Groot at first, but then everybody online is like, "Oh my god, it's King Groot." He's cool as fuck, and I love it. And he's like the size of a house. Really, really cool. Very looking forward to the future of this character, because I'm confident that no matter what happens with the future of the Guardians, he will be on it. So I'm sure we'll see him again, and he's going to be as gigantic as he currently is, and I'm very excited for it. Now, coming in at number 5, starting off our top 5, we got Drax the Destroyer. I think that he's a really interesting character, and I really like what they did with him in Volume 3. I think that they really kind of like went away from what the fans were expecting here, and I thought it was really, really good. Drax is just a character out for vengeance in the first movie, right? And in the second movie, he sticks around with the team because he has this newfound family and he misses his wife and daughter, but they really don't do anything with his character in the second movie. They just kind of make him a big idiot, kind of have him bully Mantis for literally no reason, and he gives some fatherly advice in the second movie, but I think that all of the, like, dumb character decisions that he makes in the second movie just kind of completely ruins him as a character for me. I really like the redemption arc that they gave him in this most recent one, but like, yeah, I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities with Drax specifically. Like in Infinity War and Endgame, he should have done more. His whole thing was that he wanted to get revenge on Thanos, and he doesn't really get a chance. They have like a 5-second scene where he runs up to Thanos and he ruins Star-Lord's plan, and it's like, that's it. That's the only time he sees Thanos the entire Infinity War Endgame, and it kind of pissed me off. But overall, I think Dave Bautista did a really good job. And I think the fact that he ended up the movies as kind of a fatherly figure is really good. I just wish that they had done more with him in the prior movies, because he's an interesting character. He has a dark background. Okay, I'm going to be honest, before I get to my number 4, this is the hardest ranking I've ever had to do. My top 5 were literally killing me because I could not figure it out. So the next 4, I just want to say, these can pretty much all be interchangeably, except for number 1, really. And yeah, so please don't hate me. But yeah, so coming in at number 4, we have Star-Lord. I love Star-Lord so much. I'm going to completely ignore the fact that what he did in Infinity War, because James Gunn literally said that he would not do that. And I kind of agree that just seems so out of character for him to like ruin his own plan. Like he's above everything else. He's kind of like self-centered and thinks he's the absolute shit. So, him punching Thanos repeatedly and basically being the reason why they lose in Infinity War, I'm not going to put that against his character because that's not something his character would do. But I do think that in the first movie, he is fantastic. He goes back and basically risks his life for music. And when they brought that back in the third movie, I thought it was fantastic. And I think Chris Pratt is just so charismatic and cool. And the first movie, he has mommy issues. The second movie, he has daddy issues. The third movie, he's an alcoholic. I think he can't get any better than that. A character who has all kinds of issues and has no idea how to cope with them. Fantastic. And I also like the fact that he very clearly is not, like, really fit to be the leader of the Guardians, but he's just human. And he's just there. And he's kind of the reason why they all came together. And I think that him being the center focus of the Guardians of the Galaxy for the first movie, at least, was really, really good. And I thought his character arc throughout the three movies was also fantastic. And I like that they had his character end by going and getting closure on Earth. I think that it worked really well. Even though I said I did not think it was going to happen, I'm cool with it. I think that it was a great ending for his character. Okay, coming in at number 3, we have Nebula. I think Nebula's character arc is probably the most impactful to me. And from the first movie to the final movie, she goes through so much. She's one of the Guardians who we see the most of throughout all of the movies because in Infinity War and Endgame, she was kind of actually a really big deal. I think that her starting off as like a very vengeful, I want to kill my sister, was, kind of harsh. But then in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, when she has the scene where she just wanted a sister and she was pissed at Gamora because Gamora always won whenever they did their like little fighting contest, is so powerful. And the way that Karen Gillan acts it out is so good. Like, her Nebula performance is phenomenal. I love it so much.
No, I saved your life.
Well, you were stupid enough to let me live.
You let me live.
I don't need you always trying to beat me.
I'm not the one that just flew across the universe just because I wanted to win.
Do not tell me what I want.
I don't need to tell you what you want. It's obvious.
You were the one who wanted to win, and I just wanted a sister.
And something that I like about Nebula is she's like so hard and she's like tough and she doesn't want to show off the fact that she has emotions, but you can tell she has emotions. And specifically the scene that like did it for me, that made me think like she's one of the top 3 characters, is in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 when they save Rocket, but they don't really tell her right away that they saved Rocket. And then she hears Rocket's voice over the intercom and she literally like breaks down. It is so cool. It is so great. And then also all of her action sequences are dope as hell. Okay, but coming in at number 2, I cannot express enough how much I loved this character and how much I really appreciate what James Gunn did with it. Yondu. I know that some people are probably going to be like, what the hell? Why is he so high on your list? A character who is morally incorrect and who's done so many wrong things in his life, who really just wants to do something right and, try to make a difference now that he can, is so powerful. In the first movie, he's kind of an antagonist. He's kind of somebody who's there to throw a wrench in the Guardians' plans or whatever. He's just making Peter Quill's life a lot harder, right? But in the Guardians, in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 movie, they add so much layers and character depth to him. He really just wanted to be a Ravager, but he messed up because he got greedy. He wanted money. He didn't care about the fact that what he was doing was wrong and illegal. And he took Peter in and kind of tried to raise him as best as he could, but it's hard, He's not used to being a dad. He's trying his best with what he got, and he's kind of like a not great person. And I think that the way that they show his character development of him realizing that he's not a great person and he really needs to do better in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is great. And the scene with him and Rocket where he says, "I know who you are, boy, because you're me," is so powerful. And I'm not going to lie, that is literally my favorite scene and my favorite lines of dialogue in the entirety of the MCU. It is so good. It makes me cry every time. Michael Rooker did absolutely phenomenal with this role, and I cannot get enough of it. I literally rewatch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 all the time. I think that Yondu is such an underrated character. He's probably in my top 10 like MCU characters in total. Like, he'd probably be number 5 or something like that. And that's saying something because he has a lot of competition. But coming in at number 1, and he would also be my number 1 on ranking all of the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is Rocket Raccoon. I love Rocket Raccoon so much. I've loved him since literally the first movie. His line that really got me in the first movie was, "Now I'm standing, a bunch of jackasses standing in a circle," is so good. It's so great. And one of my favorite things that I love about it is he goes from like wanting to run away to the edge of the galaxy and not wanting to really help defend the galaxy to his, what's it called? One of his last lines in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is, "I'm done running." And it's like, obviously in that movie, it's symbolic of the fact that he ran away from the Higher Evolutionary back when he was young, and he's kind of been always running from the Higher Evolutionary because that's his father and he's terrified of him. But like, also, the first movie, he literally mentioned that him and Groot just wanted to run away, and they didn't want to have to deal with the fact that Ronan was going to go around destroying a bunch of galaxies or whatever. He literally went from being a scaredy cat to a hero, and it was fantastic. And something that I love about his character is he's so broken emotionally, physically, in literally every way he could be broken, but he still tries his best to kind of be there for other people. He's kind of a mentor in many ways. The scene that he has with Thor in Infinity War, I'm pretty sure I already mentioned it, is so good, so powerful. He kind of helps him like realize who he needs to be, and like he gives him kind of like the emotional support that he really needs. And in Endgame, when he's with Thor again, he gives him kind of emotional support that he needs. He gives him the pep talk that he needs. He is such a good leader, and they show it all throughout the movies because he's constantly there for everyone else when everybody needs him. He has the stuff that they need. Like when they needed to blow up Ego, he was the guy who had the stuff to make those bombs. He's such a resourceful character, and I absolutely love him. And everything that they did with him in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was so good too. 10 out of 10 character, literally the best. I cannot get enough of him. But yeah, that was it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to share your rankings down below, feel free to let me know. I would love to have a discussion with you guys about any of these characters. If any of you guys think I had a character too low or I had a character too high, once again, feel free to let me know. And yeah, I love and appreciate every single one of you guys for watching this video. I know it was a long one. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow. Bow. Bow.